I did not do an exhaustive diagnostic or evaluation of each and every programme, so this is a sort of generalised sense emerging from the conversations with the stakeholders that I did conduct. And one issue to pick out here is, of course, corruption and misuse of funds, which comes up again and again and again, that the way in which some of these programmes have been rolled out in the past and even today are somehow missing their target, with a very high degree of scepticism existing out there as to the way in which beneficiaries are selected, whether or not they are close to or have some kind of access to people implementing programs, or politicians very much colouring choices around who benefits and who doesn't. And of course, from the conflict reduction point of view, that is a huge issue. If we're talking about the population of young people who are alienated and who do not have opportunity, then any misuse of funds designed to assist them, of course, runs the paradoxical risk of really just playing into the same conflict dynamic that may actually push people to violent action. One issue that was also mentioned was actually a lack of kind of up-to-date analysis of what jobs are actually out there informing programs. So sometimes, you know, we see skills training programs that have been offering the same curricula year in, year out, which of course does beg the question as to whether there really are all those opportunities for so many carpenters in a particular place, etc., etc. So the sort of freshness and the rigour with which some programs are being designed is not always apparent. And then issues around quality control and results monitoring. In interviewing some officials, it became apparent that the monitoring and evaluation of some initiatives is very sort of light touch. In some cases, the resources are simply not there, even when the awareness is there that, you know, more needs to be done to hold institutions and programs to account. The resources may not be there to do it, with the result that some programs are just sort of, you know, chugging along and, you know, perhaps missing some opportunities there. Even while there is also a lot of expertise and a new generation of programs that have tried very, very hard to be designed in a way that addresses some of these very issues. A second issue worth highlighting in its own right, and I think it was already mentioned by one of the speakers, is the question of consultation with the very people who are intended beneficiaries from these programs. And it's really quite surprising to me, moving around and realizing how little of that goes on. You know, young people are going to be themselves the best placed to inform program design, to ensure programs are relevant, contextualized, and responding to their own aspirations. Yet that kind of gap in terms of discourse, and again it touches on the whole question of the conflict factor, because if young people are have the feeling that they are excluded from the policy making, policy and program design process, that can only serve to reinforce those feelings of exclusion and alienation which drive people into conflict.